I am embracing it with both my hands and feet. And I encourage you to do the same too. Coach Wale, welcome, 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 welcome. I like the way you look in your DP. Mary Ben, welcome. We're going to have an exciting session today. But before we get into today's topic, which is margin configuration, and before I bring up our trainer for today, I want to welcome those of you who are new, especially because today is a landmark day. Today is the first training we have had or we are having since after the baby dedication of our own dear leader, Coach George. He had his baby dedication last week, and today is the first training we're having. And even though we didn't quite meet his expectations in terms of attendance, and I want to apologize on behalf of the team for that dismal showing. But please be rest assured, George, that at the next outing, which you have promised to host as the end of year party, the team is going to turn out en masse and celebrate each other. So that's the one reason why today is special for those who are new. The second reason is that you are coming in here at a time when we are going to take off, when this business is going to take off. So if you're wondering what business is this is the business of trading cryptocurrencies in the spot market. And we do that leveraging artificial intelligence by employing the use of a robot that is deployed on the Royalq quantitative platform. So welcome again. I would at this point introduce our trainer for today, Leader George, who is a V4 in Royalq. And he's been here since 2021, if I have my facts right. And he's helped a lot of people come into the business, not just come into the business, but make progress in the business. There are lots of heartwarming testimonies from different people on how this business has changed and transformed their lives. What's going on here? Did I do something wrong? Is somebody sharing a screen? Okay, maybe I did something. So a lot of people have been positively impacted. Some not so much, but not because there's any problem with the business or the platform, but because they do not have the knowledge that they need and they do not have the discipline that it takes to make progress and achieve success here. This is not a Ponzi scheme. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not a platform where, you put a dollar today and you get $20,000 in 2 hours. This is not that kind of place. This is a legitimate business leveraging a legitimate platform, interfacing with credible people. And so at this point, I would want to bring our trainer for today, Leader George. Again, we apologize for the scanty show up at your baby dedication. Please accept our apologies, and we will do the needful to try to, make it up. All right, Leader George, take it away.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Those watching this video through the YouTube, good day. You're all welcome. I believe we have new prospects in this Zoom. Please, we'll do little introduction on what is Royalq. Then we'll now enter the main topic. So if you are here for today's topic, which is margin configuration. If you are here for today's topic, which is margin configuration, please start. You can just fast forward to 30 minutes or 20 minutes. Maybe I'll use 20 minutes for the introduction, just to explain what Royalq is about. You understand? So if you are here just for the topic of today, please skip the video to like 20 minutes. 20 minutes. So 20 minutes. Okay, so what is Royalq? This business is an amazing business that we started in 2021. And by the special grace of God, many serious people have been able to buy cars, some bought lands, some have been able to build themselves houses from this business. So this business is not a Ponzi scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It helps us. It's an artificial intelligence robot that helps us to trade the cryptocurrency markets. You know, cryptos, they are digital assets that they are very volatile in nature. Volatility means the changes in price very fast. So the coins can go up very fast. They can come down at very fast. So that is why we need an artificial intelligence robot that works 24/7 to trade crypto for us. So that is why Royalq come to play. And since 2021, we have been using it. It has been amazing. Even when we know that in cryptocurrency, they have seasons. They have the bull season and they have the bear season. They have the bull season where we are now, and they have the bear season when crypto will start going down. Royalq has made us to enjoy this business, this crypto trading business. So our capital stays with us. That is number one. If you are joining us, that is number one take-home point. Your capital you'll be using for this business stays with you in your exchange. Your exchange can be Binance, it can be Huobi, it can be KuCoin, it can be Bybit. That is where you keep your capital safe with you. You understand? Now, only what you have to send to this robot is the activation money and your gas fees. Your capital remain with you. You don't send it to the robot account. You understand? So you just send you just send in the $120, which is what you use to activate your robot to work for you 365 days. You understand? You rent the robots to work for you 365 days. It's like you paying for a shop rent. So you are paying for the robots to work for you for 1 year, 1 full year. Okay? So what the robot does, it works 24/7. It works even when you don't have data. It works when you are sleeping. It works when your phone is even off. As far you are trading on cycle, it buys and sells, buys and sells, buys and sells. So that is how we have been able to make profits. Royalq promise 10 to 30% monthly on your trading capital. So it's not a business that you'll be expecting return on investment, like all these business that are positive scheme that they will say every Saturday, draw every two weeks or every month. No. Profit, you can sell your profit because your profit stays with you. So if you make profits today from Royalq, the profit stays in your Binance. You can easily sell it and get cash. So it's not something that you must need Royalq's permission before you are able to sell your profits. No. If you make $10 today, you make $5 today, and you need to sell it to get money, you can comfortably sell it. Okay, so your money, your trading capital is very secure. It's very safe with you in your exchange. Okay, so the number two take-home point is that the robot does not sell in loss. we don't experience loss, real loss in this business. We only experience what we call the floating, is either it's floating negative or it's floating positive. So once you start the trade, crypto can either float down, reduce in value, or it can float up, increase in value. If it floats down, that is your value, your money you use for the trade will be reducing in value. So your $100 can you might reduce to $95, might reduce to $70. Your $100 can reduce to 75. Immediately you start the trade. Because that capital you are using, once you start the trade, is no more capital, it's now floating capital. Until the robot concludes a trade, that is when you will now, your capital will now change from floating capital to real capital. So that is how the business is structured. There is no loss. The robot cannot sell in loss. If the coin is going down, the robot will be buying more quantity of the coin because the robot is being built to do dollar cost averaging. So even if you have $100 to start, the robot might use $15 to start the trade. So if the coin starts going down, the robot will now use some money out of after the robot have used $15 to start the trade, it will now remain 85. The robot will now start using can use $10.5, it can use $11 to start buying the margin cost for the trade. You understand? So that is how the robot is being designed to do dollar cost averaging. So if the coin starts going down, the robot starts buying margin calls. It will not sell until the coin starts coming. So when the coin starts coming up, the robot is being designed to make profit from us even when our trades is down. So once the robot buys margin calls and the coin starts improving, it will start selling them to make profit for us. So the robot produces profit in two ways. It produces the sub profits and it also produce the full profit. So profit is when your coins is down and the coin is started coming up. It has not come up finish. The robot will be giving you sub profit. Now, when the coins now come up, the robot will now give you your full profit. So this is one of the also reason why we love the business. The business is like you starting a provision store. Your goods is inside your shop. You have paid for your shop rent for 1 year. You have your gas fees. Gas fees are money set aside to run the day-to-day activities in your shop. In your provision store, you pay for light, you pay for this and that, water, throwaway debt, all those small money you use in doing that. In Royalq, your gas fee stays in your exchange, no, in Royalq, your gas fee stays in your Royalq account. So anytime your robot makes profit for you, some fractions is being deducted for gas fees. So that is how the business is working. So with at least $240, you'll be able to set up your robot. The more capital you add in your exchange, the more profits you get. And remember, when you are adding capital to your exchange, when you start, because you want to improve your profits you'll be making, remember that you also you add more money for your gas fees. You understand? Because it's just like you having a car. If you want to drive far distance, you buy more fuel. If you want to drive small distance, you can manage your small fuel. You understand? So that is it about the trading aspect of the business. I don't know if anyone has questions, but also in the business, it has the team building aspect. That one is optional. If you choose to if you like the business, like we have been in business going to 4 years and we love the business, we have been able to tell our friends, our online contacts about this business. So anybody will tell about the business and the person registers, we actually gives us $30 as rewards. So it's optional. If you don't want to tell anybody, you can just focus on trading and be making your trade profit and you can sell it at any time you like. But if you eventually tell someone about the business and the person use your link and you confirm that the person used your link through the counselor's page and the person activates, Royalq gives you $30. The good thing about the team building in Royalq is that once the person start making profit for himself and is enjoying trade profits, that gas fees Royalq is charging the person, some percentage of those gas fees comes to you as Royalq telling you thank you for putting this person through. So in Royalq, apart from the activation gain you get immediately, Royalq also gives you rewards for putting the person through in trading. If the person does not make profits, you yourself, you will not gain rewards for trade commissions. So you have to put the person through, let the person start trading and making profits for himself or herself for you to also get rewards, but it's optional. You understand? So that is it. So I don't know, our host, I don't know if we have any questions. So before we go into the topic of today, thank you.
Thank you, Leader George, for that introduction. I believe that those who are new here are now better informed than they were when they first joined the call. You now know what Royalq is. You know what we do here. You know that this is not a Ponzi scheme. This is a business. It comes with its own challenges as every business would, but it comes with the potential for incredible rewards. So if you have any questions, please um, type either type your question in the chat box or show a reaction by raising your hand and we will unmute you so you can ask whatever questions you have. Any questions, anyone?
Okay, I think we have a question in the chat box.
Okay, good. Okay, concerning our Binance API, don't you think they can hack us with that? That's the question, Judge.
Okay, so the Binance is I've been using app online. Binance has been one of the most secured app I've seen. OP has started copying the security. You see sometimes if you start withdrawing money, they will ask for facial verification. So Binance have this facial verification, they have SMS verification, they have SIM verification, they have Royalq cannot hack because Binance have their secured API. That is why when we started Royalq, in our API, there were no Royalq was not using the IP, secured IP. We don't enter our secured IP when we started. So these are the security they have been put in place so that our APIs are very secured. Before any money will leave your Binance account, they must pass through those verifications. So Royalq cannot hack your Binance account. Royalq works with 9 exchanges. So they are bigger to start hacking people's accounts. Royalq is a service provider company. They make money from having a good standard system. They make money when their app is working well. Royalq is making millions of dollars daily. So they don't need your capital in your Binance or in all the 8 exchanges to start hacking. You understand? So your API is safe. That is why we use the secured IP address to link your Binance or your exchanges to your Royalq. So it's secured. Okay, we have another question. Okay, we have another question from Esther Waneri. Good evening, sir. Please, how can a new member use your link to register for you to get your bonus? Yes, It's the same thing. The way you register, that is how the new member will also register. You give the person your invitation link. You understand? You give the person your invitation link. The person clicks on it, and the person will see the Royalq registration form. The person fills it with your codes, because once the person clicks that link, your code will be in the referral. So once the person put the email, password, and register, the person automatically have used your link to register. So before the person funds the account, you should make sure you ask the person to check his counselor's page. From mine page, you will see your email address with an arrow. Let the person clicks on that arrow at the top. It takes the person to the counselor page. The person will now see your name. Your Royalq username will be showing. You understand? So that is how someone can use your link to register. So do we have any other question? So, host, I think, Mr. Sam, I think we don't have
Yes,
any.
I don't think we have any other questions, but just to add to the anxiety of the person who asked the question about hacking. Um, of course, Royalq has no business trying to hack your Binance, but I'm sure that your question was centered around, can somebody else hack into your Binance using the API? That's not possible because there are several layers of authentication that is involved. Even you to take money from your Binance is not easy, not to mention somebody else trying to take money from your Binance. So hacking into your Binance, it's, let me not just say it's impossible because everything is possible, but it's going to be incredibly difficult. And it would involve your participation and approval for somebody to be able to do that. So the short answer to your question is no, they cannot hack your Binance via the API. All right, Leader George, I think that we can go into the next topic, which is the training for today, margin configuration. I see your question, Evans, but I think we'll take that question after the topic for today, since it relates to somebody who is already in the platform, has an activated robot, and is now trading. So we'll take your question afterwards. All right, Leader George, we can proceed.
So I'm going to share my screen. So we'll go into what margin configuration is. During my introduction, I've already stated what buying of margin means, and what margin calls means, margin configuration. So margin configuration is the page in this Royalq boot that helps us, sorry, that helps us to buy more quantity of the coin when that helps us to buy more quantity of the coin when the value of that coin is going down. So the page where you're going to set it, because you need to tell the robot, use so amount from my money to buy this margin calls. How many margin calls do you want the robot to buy for you? How many levels, how many points of reduction? Okay, if this trade reduced by 1%, if this rate reduced by 2%, at each of the points, how many margin calls do you want the robot to buy? And that's how many margin calls the robot should buy depends on your capital. How much do you want to use for the robot to use to buy your margin calls? So margin configuration is the page where we set margin calls. We set up margin calls so that the robot will use according to what you program for it to use to buy your margin calls. You understand? So that is where the page where we set up the settings. for the robot to use to buy each of our margin calls. You understand? The importance of this page is the key. This margin point, this margin call is the key of Royalq trading. Because in Royalq, they understand that cryptocurrency is a volatile asset. So the price can fall, the price can go. So as a trader, you should be prepared that yes, these coins can fall at any time. So what will you do? That is where Royalq will not come in. The margin call is one of the important feature in Royalq. One of the important feature, if you understand margin calls, I don't think you will have issues with your money management. Okay, so I think the question the guy answers, the last person that answers question is related to this now. You understand this margin configuration. So if you listen to it well, I believe you gain one or two and you see answers to your question. My stand is disturbing. Okay, so I'll share my screen, then we'll go into margin configurations. I'm going to use $100 for example. Then if time permits us, I will use 200, I will use $300 for the second example, if time permits us. We started late today, Sha. We started late today. But let me share my screen. Let me open the Royalq. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is our Royalq app. We're amazing. This is not how it was when we started in 2021. This company is an amazing company that they continue to do updates. They continue doing updates on their app. This is not the app. This is not the Royalq we started with in 2021. They have done so many updates, updated security and everything. Okay, so let's say we want to we want to trade with $100 margin configuration. Do we just see a trade? Let's see. Let me look for a coin. Let's say SU. Let me see the chart. Maybe you are giving a signal, or you yourself, you have checked the charts and you have seen that the indicators, the Bollinger indicator, which is this one, these lines on the chart, this up line, you can see if I have off it. So this line that is off and on is our Bollinger indicator. If the Bollinger indicator is telling you to trade, you will now check the KDJ. KDJ, look at it here. This other line is the KDJ answering you to trade. But for this coin now, both the Bollinger and the KDJ is not answering us to trade it. Okay, so let's go. Let me see. So is coming down. They are still coming down. Okay, we are trading margin configuration. I will not start any trades. Let's just use it as example. Okay, let me just use it as example, because in trading, sometimes when we want to enter trade, not you holding up is also part of trading. You holding on without instructing your robot to start a trade is also part of trading, because you are advised to tell the robot to initiate a trade when market is down, so that the robot, even if market goes down a little again, the robot will buy margin calls, so that if market starts going up, the robot will start selling them. But if you go and enter a trade when market is up at the peak, remember, when crypto goes up, it will start falling. So what your robot will just be doing, it will just be buying margin calls, buying margin calls, margin calls. And if that coin falls down all through without any increment, you will not even make the sub profits you are supposed to make. So entry time also matters in this trading. When you should activate the coin matters. So let me just do, for example, we want to trade settings. Look at trade settings below. So I'll click on trade settings, come here. So you see this margin configuration. Before you enter this margin configuration, you must first settle the first buy amount and the margin call limit. So you see these two things are some things you must set before you can now enter the margin configuration page. Okay, so for example, our trade capital is $100. So we want to use 15, which is 15%. We want to use 15% for first buy. Then the remaining 85% of our capital, which is the $100, we want to use it to buy margin calls. So I'll put 15 here as my first buy. Remember, the robot is being designed to do dollar cost averaging. So that dollar cost averaging is in the margin configuration page. Okay, so let's say first buy in amount 15. The remaining 85% is $85. So when we have $85, and the lowest you can use to start up a margin calls advisable is 10.5 and above. So let's say we use 10.5 to divide 85. How many times can 10.5 go into 85? Because we want to use $85 now, you're telling the robot that out of the divide $85 into 10.5, we'll get 8.09. So 8. 8 now means that 10.5, the robot can use 8 times of 10.5 to buy margin calls 8 times. So the margin call limit, that is where you put the number of margin calls. So for this our capital, $100, the margin call limit is 8. So the robot will use 10.5, 10.5, 10.5. If the coin drops the first call to the first call, the robot will use $10.5 to buy. If it drops to the second call, the robot will use another $10.5 to buy. For the 8 times it will drop at a different drop percentage, the robot will be using 10.5, 10.5 to buy them. Okay, so I've explained the first buy amount. Because of dollar cost averaging, we are not supposed to put all our trading capital in the first buy amount. So start with either 15% or 30. If your capital is much, you can start with 30%. So 70%, you should now use 70% to arrange your margin calls. So for this example, 8, the whole position take profit call, but because of the bull run, we are going to use 0.3. The whole position take profit ratio, this one comes with the signal. But if you want to enter trade by yourself, you're not using signal and the trade is on cycle, please use 1% for take whole position take profit. Okay, so the callback 0.25, 0.3. So you can leave all these ones like this. Okay, so now go to margin configuration. So you see anything you put here, this margin call limit, that is what will appear in here. So the margin call limit takes note of the number of margin calls you want to set. So we put 8, you can see call, first call, second call, down to 8 call. You understand? If we put 5 here in the margin call limit, if you go to margin configuration, you will have first call, second call, third call, fourth call, fifth call, 5. You understand? We have 5. So for this example, we are using 8. We are using 8. Okay, so we'll go to margin configuration. Margin configuration page has 2 parts. It has the margin call drop. It has the margin buy-in ratio. The margin call drop is you setting the different points. You setting the different points when the coins starts reducing in value. No, in crypto, when it goes up, it will come down. So in the robot, they use this percentage. So the robot, once you set this percentage, the robot calculates this percentage in price. You understand? The robot calculate this percentage in price. You understand? So 2.3%, the robot will check it for the reduction in price, for it to get the price of this first score. So once the coin reach this first score, the robot will now order, the robot will now activate for it to buy this first score. Okay? Now, another notice, the margin call drop, that is what I'm explaining now. The more you increase it, the more it will take, it will delay. Most of these crypto, there are some that are very volatile. There are some that they don't move. They have some coins, and Royalq will always tell you this coin has high rate of fluctuation. When you want to trade that kind of coin, that Royalq is telling you that it has high level of fluctuation, that means it can drop to 10% under few seconds. So if you want to trade that kind of coins, you don't use a range that is small. If you want to trade that kind of coin like SLP, SHIB, they have some other coins that are meme coins that they can easily fall. If you want to trade them, you know that you must give space. You can use 3.5. But if you are trading a coin that is moving small, small, it doesn't fall hard. It doesn't pump hard. Okay, we are treating the fall now. It doesn't fall hard. You now put 3.5 or you put 4%. You know that your robot can stay in a day without buying any margin calls. Your robot, that coin might be going down by 2%, come up 2%, goes down 2%, come up 2%, go down 3%, almost 2%, but the robot will not buy. You'll be saying, my robot is not buying my margin calls. My robot is not buying my margin calls. But you have forgotten that your range, your margin call drop, the margin calls the robot wants to buy, that you put 4%. But that coin has been moving 2%, 3%, 2%, 3%. But it has not bought your margin to even make you profit for that day. So please take note, depending on the coin. Don't go and pick a coin like, let's say, Ethereum. You are now using margin first call drop. You are now using drop of 4%, high percent for the drop. Those coins, they don't drop like that. But if you are now, you want to start 100, your capital is $100, you have only 8 margins. Yeah? You now go and say, I want to trade SHIB. You now go and set 1.3, 1.3, 1.3, or you now set 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. Do you know that? Let's turn everything to 1% so we will not do more of calculations. So do you know that with these settings, these robots will only buy your margin calls from the once you start the trades to a drop of 8, total of 8%. So now, if your setting is like this, can you use these settings for a coin like SHIB? Can you use these settings for a coin like SLP, or a coin like ATA, or a coin? There are some meme coins. You cannot use this kind of range, drop range, because those coins in the space of a minute or few seconds, those coins can drop to 10% reduction in value. Now, Your robot must have bought all your 8 margin calls, and your robot will not make profit for you because that coin has dropped to 10%. The robot only bought your first call at 1% drop. It bought the second call at another 1% drop. It bought your margin call for the third one at another 1% drop. The total it has bought 8 margin calls, total of 8% drop. So if the coin you are trading now drops more than 10%, know that you will not be making profits because the robot will only sell in profits. But because of you are able to cover only 8% drop and the coin has dropped to 10%, 15%, 20%, the robot will be idle. These are the days that you will not make money daily. That's why we say in Royalq, you don't make money daily. We just say it. It's not that some people are not making money daily, but we say it so that any day you see and there's no money, you should not feel sad. But if that coin that has gone down by 12%, your robot stops buying at 8. If that coin the next day pumps to like 5, increase by 10%, you know that your robot will start selling it will sell your margin 8 first. If it increase, if it's still pumping, it will sell your margin 7. It will sell your margin 6. It will not sell your margin 5. If your strategy mode is the sub-beam real time settlement, that means you want the robot to settle you in real time. You buy my goods at margin 5, it increase, sell margin 5 for me. Give me my money, the profit I make on margin 5. You bought margin 1 to 8 and the coin has started increasing. Maybe the coin reduced to 8%. The robot bought all this one and the coin now pumps to 4%. Your robot will sell your margin 8, sell your margin 7, sell your margin 5, and sell your margin 6 and sell your margin 5 and give you the profits real time. That's why we call that mode real time, sub-beam real time settlement. All this, the margin 5 to the 8 will be sold in sub positions if you use the sub-beam mode real time settlement. So I've explained the margin call drop. If the call drops 1%, it will buy the first margin. If it now drops to the second, another 1% again, it will buy the second margin. If it drops another 1% again, it will buy the fourth margin. So the robot, you see all this drop, all this buying and the selling here in margin configuration, it functions in cycle mode. So even if your general trade is on one shot, once that coin start dropping and your robot starts buying margin calls, those margin calls, if it's reduced by 8, to buy all the 8. If it increase by another 3%, it will sell your margin 8, sell your margin 7, sell your margin 6, and give you profit. If that coin now reduce again another 3%, it will buy all those margin calls back. If it increase again, it will sell. So you see the beauty of Royalq. That is it. So if you are trading a volatile coin that moves faster, you can increase to 3.5, you can increase to 2.5, you can increase to 2, you can increase to 2.5, 2.5, you can even do 4%. If the coin is volatile coin, you can reduce. You can increase. If it's very volatile, you can increase. Okay, so now we'll go over to the times. The multiple buy-in ratio. I've already explained the multiple buy-in ratio when we started the introduction. Remember, I said since we are starting with $100 and we have already used 15% as first buy, so the remaining 75%, which is $85, we have already divided it by 10.5 to get 8 margin calls limits. So the limit is 8. So how do we put 10.5? Do we put 10.5 here? Should we put 10.5 there so that the robot will use 10.5 to buy the margin calls? But no, this robot is an artificial intelligence. These times you are seeing, times, it means that anything you put here, the robot will go and multiply it. It will times it by your first buy amount. Anything it gets, that is the money the robot will go and take from your exchange and buy this coin at this first margin. So if we put one here, it will do one times our first buy amount is $15 for this example. So if you put one here, see the robot will now do when this coin has dropped by 1%, the robot will trigger a margin buy, but it will not buy, it will wait for a callback. Okay, we have explained callback before. So it will wait for a callback before it will now do one, anything you put here, times the first buy. So if you put one, it will do one times first buy, which is 15. The robot will go and use $15 from your spare money in your Binance. It will now use $15 to convert to the coin. You understand? It uses $15 to convert to the coin. Now, if you so we want to use 10.5 to buy. So how do we do it? How do we get what we put in the times? You understand? How do we get what to put in the times? So that whenever the robot times it, multiply it by our first buy amount, it will give the robot $10.5 to buy the margin. You understand? So what we will do is we will do that 10.5. That 10.5 we want the robot to use to buy. We will do 10.5 divided by the first buy amount. That 10.5, we will use it divided by the first buy amount. So 10.5 divided by 15, we will get 0.7. Please, I did not do 15 divided by 10.5. I did not do that one. I did the dollars we want the robot to use to buy our margin calls, which is 10.5. You have already gotten this 10.5, which is the lowest money to use to buy a margin calls. But if your capital is much, maybe you're trading with $300, you can decide that, okay, I don't want to use 10.5 because I want my sub profits to also be big. I want my sub profit because all these margin calls is the money that you use to buy them that will determine the sub profits you'll be getting from them. You understand? So if you use 0.7, so let's press it in calculator. 0.7 times our first buy, which is 15, we'll get 10.5. So that is how the times is. So I'm going to set all this up because we want the robot to use $10.5 to buy each of the margin calls. So once you set finish, you save. Okay. So we have already taught how to save your trade settings. So you can do a settings and save it for volatile coins. You can do a settings and save it for let's say normal coins they are not volatile, so that you can set your margin call drop accordingly, so that you not go and use a settings that is having 1% drop to trade a very volatile coin that can reduce by 10% in few seconds. So you not go and use this kind of settings on the trades. So the knowledge is that so you will know the settings you have to use on a particular trade. That is why we are doing this margin configuration class, this lecture. So I don't know if we have any question about this. So before
Yes,
uh,
George. I don't know if I can ask you to address the margin configuration. If you can address sub-bean mode, because you already talked about sub-bean mode real time, sub-bean mode, and what happens after the fifth call? What happens between the fourth call and the first call?
Okay. So because of when I did the introduction, I said the robot is designed to also make profits for us, even when our coins is down, is here, is in this margin configuration. You see, the robot treats margin 1, margin 2, margin 3, and margin 4 as whole. Like I told you that the buying and selling that happens on this page is default. You can't change it, is on cycle that happens on margin when your coins are going down. The default is on cycle. That means if it sells any of this margin from margin 5 and above, it can sell from margin 5 and above. You understand? It can sell from margin 5 and above if you are using the mode, the strategy mode of sub-beam real-time settlement. So the robot sees margin 1 to margin 4 as part of your first buy-in amount. It treats them, your first buying amount plus your margin 1 to 4, it treats them as a whole warehouse mode. It treats your margin 1, margin 2, margin 3, margin 4, and your first buy amount as whole. It wants to say, it sells them as a whole. You understand? So if you set up your margin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, once the robot buy your fifth one, the sixth one, and the coins increase, the robot will sell them if you are using the right strategy mode, so being real-time settlement. You understand? So that is it. Is there any other question?
So what about if you are using sub-beam mode, not real time?
Okay, sub-beam mode. What sub-beam mode will do is that the robot will sell the margin, but it will not give you the profits. It will sell the margin, but it will not give you the profits. So that is the difference. But in real time, it says the profit, it says the margin calls, and it gives you the profits. You can use your profit, you can sell your profit. But in sub-beam, it does not give you it doesn't give you the profit immediately until when the coin sells everything finally. That is when it will not give you all the profits together. But it will be selling, but it will not give you the profits until when the coin comes out. Okay? So is there any other question?
Yes, there's a question from Evans. Please, may I know what informs or guides you to choose your margin call drop? And
My
then there's
margin,
another question
no,
from
let me take
Shegun.
that one. Take one.
Okay,
Then
all right.
what informs me to choose to select my margin calls? Number one is the capital. The capital I want to use for the trades. My capital I want to use for the trade. Number one. Number two is the coin. The coin I want to trade. Is it a very volatile coin that is fluctuates a lot? Or is it a coin that does not move? So that is the things you consider when setting your margin call drop. Okay, so you can say I have $1,000. Let me trade. If you have $1,000, the lowest you are advised to trade is 300. At least $300 should trade with $300 margin calls can cover comfortably 30%. Because in a bull season, we are advised to cover 20 to 30% drop. You understand? So that is it. So can I get the second question?
The second question is, with a trade capital of $1,000, what should be the first buy amount? I think
Yeah,
that's from
I just said
Steven.
$1,000. I said $1,000. You can divide $1,000 into three. So 333. to trade one coin. So with $1,000, you can trade 3 coins. With $1,000, you can trade 3 coins comfortably to cover the margin call drop of 30%. At least the first buy amount will now be 15 or 30%, anyone you want. 15% of the 333. That is your trading capital for a coin. So your 15%, if you want to use 15%, you will get $45, $49. That is what you use to buy your first buy amount. But if you decide that you want to use 30% of 333, you can now use $99 to buy the first buy amount. So the remaining money minus 333. So if you are using 333, the remaining money is 233. So is this 233 now? You now divide it by 10.5. If you want to use if you want your robot to use $10.5 to be buying margin, if you want to use $12, you divide. If you want to use 11, you divide. If you want to use $15, you divide. If you want to use 20, you divide. You understand? But what you should know that the higher the number of margin calls you have, the better. Because if you have plenty margin calls, you can even reduce your drop percentage because you have plenty margin calls. But if you don't have plenty margin calls, you have to increase it so that you can be able to cover 20 to 30% reduction if the coin starts coming down. Can your margin call takes 20 to 30%? That is another thing you should consider. You understand? So I don't know if I've answered that question.
Yes, I think you have, George. The question I have is, after you have entered a trade and the trade is running, can you come and modify your margin configuration and change your first buy amount so that your multiple buying ratio will buy more if you have more capital?
Yes, if you have more capital and you want to increase, if you don't want to increase your first buy amount, just come to the margin calls, the times. So if I want maybe this robot has bought my margin 1 to 4 now from these settings, and is about to buy my 5th margin. But I know that that 5th margin, that is where the robot will start giving me some profits from. I will not say no. Instead of using $10.5 to buy, since I've added more capital, I can change it to 1, even when the trade is ongoing. So if I change it to 1, if this coin now drops, is on the 4th, it has already bought the 4th margin. If it drops by 2% to buy my 5th call, the robot will now use 1 times my first buy, which is $15. The robot will now use $15 to buy. So you can always edit your settings even when your trade is ongoing. Okay?
Okay. Thank you. But can you, as you are changing that to 1, can you also change your first buy to 50?
You know,
For example?
if you change your first buy to 50, automatically all the times, if the robot wants to buy your first corner, it will do 0.7 times 50.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
if you
But
have
can you do that?
yes, you can
Okay.
change by
Okay.
amount once you
All
have
right.
the money.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
So do we have any other question?
Any other question from anybody in the house? If there are no questions at this point, we want to say thank you to Leader George for today's training. All of our guests invited, all of those who do not have an activated robot, after the call, go back to the person who invited you so that they can tell you how to start with us. and guide you accordingly. I would say again, congratulations for coming across this information at this time. You are very lucky, and I hope that you take action with what you have heard today. Um, so I would say good night to you all. Good afternoon to those in the US. Good morning to those in Asia. This is a global team now, and we have members all across the globe. I think somebody just, oh, sorry, Olayinka. I dropped the last question, which was not attended to. What does it mean? Okay, so does it mean we need to know the volatility of these coins to determine how we set our margin call drop? George, can you please take that question before we close out? Olayinka wants to know.
What is the
Uh,
question?
the question is, does it mean we need to know the volatility of these coins to determine how we set our margin call drop?
Okay, so let me share my screen so I will show you a practical example. Um, so let me go back. So I mentioned some coins. Okay, so let me just search for a coin. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, let me say I want to trade this SLP. So you can see Royalq sending me a reminder. This reminder, this coin may have large fluctuation in prices. Please trade with caution and note the risks. Royalq will not be liable for any loss or damage that may occur through the transaction. The loss or damage that might occur through the transaction is you not being patient. Some people say I've been on this trade for 1 month, 2 months. Please, let me cut my loss. I can't wait again for the robot, this one, that one. And you end the trade by yourself when you are not a robot. That is the warning. Royalq said they will not be liable for any if you are not patient enough to wait and you end the trade. So this is the caution. So there are some coins when you want to enter, you get um, this advice from Royalq. Let's say we want to trade. Let's say we want to trade. So Royalq will always tell you if a coin has a large fluctuation when before you enter it. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. There should be coins that don't have. Let me see if Royalq will give so. If so is very volatile. Ah, like most coins are pumping today. Okay, you see Dutch. You see Dutch. When we want to start, no warning, no warning about huge volatility. So yes, Royalq will always give you the heads up that the coin you want to trade is very volatile. So you will know how to set your margin calls. Thank you.
Thank you, George. There was one other question. It says, what was the question? Okay. Can't I trade with $1,000 at once? Please throw more light on cycle strategy period.
Okay, you can trade with $1,000, but the market business idea is that all coins can never be volatile at the same time. If your capital is 1,000 and use it to trade ADA last week was pumping, doing fine, but this week it has been retracing. It means that last week you have made profit, this week your coins will just be going down. You might not make good profits today. That is why sometimes we advise, as far your capital can accommodate more than one coin, please feel free to split. So that if today coin A is volatile, you make profit. If tomorrow coin A is not volatile, coin B should be volatile so that you will also make profit daily. So that is just the mindset towards it, towards you splitting your capital into different coins. As long as your capital can accommodate 20 to 30% reduction in margins, that means you should be trading a coin with $300, at least $300 and above. At least that one can accommodate 20 to 30% drop. So thank you. Okay, so what is the last question? Please throw more light on cycle modes, cycle strategy period. Cycle, we have one shot. Okay, one shot is for people that they have time. They can observe the market themselves. They are not busy. They can see signals. That is one shot. I'm explaining one shot, sorry. They see signals. They are not busy. They are always with their phone. So they can see signals and they can enter it. So that is one shot. That is one shot, meaning that trade this signal for me. Once you give me the profit, end it. Don't continue. I will wait. I'm waiting for another signal. That is one shot. Do it once. It gives you that sell profit once. But remember, it can give you sub profit many times. But you see that sell profit in is one shot mode, strategy mode. It gives you that profit, the main profit once. Now in cycle are for people that they have capital, but they don't have time. They have capital, but they don't have time. So they can pick a good coins that is very volatile. Example, Solana. Yes, and with their 1,000, they can just enter it on cycle. It means that Solana, if you are going up, continue buying and selling, making profit for me. If you are coming down, continue buying. I have enough money that can cover 50% dip, 60% dip. So Solana, you are on cycle. I don't care if you are going up, continue buying and selling, giving profit. Even when you start coming down, even if you reduce by 40%, I have a settings that will accommodate you in your margin cost. So you understand? So that is it. So do you have any other question?
Somebody just dropped a question now. I
Okay.
think that is so, Stephen, if you are following, I think he already explained that. For whatever capital you are using to trade a particular signal, you should use 15 to 30% of that amount. So if you have $4,000 and you want to budget 1,000 to trade one signal, then your first buy amount should reasonably be anywhere between $150 to $300 or $330, if I am right. That's what George explained previously. But George, um, do you have any comments on that question? He says, for instance, my capital is $4,000 and I want to budget 1,000 for one signal. What should be my first buy amount? Hello, George. Are you still with us? If you are
Sorry,
speaking,
sorry,
you're on mute.
sorry. I said, I mean, I don't know, I have muted myself. I said, since the person, you got it correct. Uh, 15% to 30% of $1,000 should be used for the for the first buy amount, while the remaining 70% should be divided. 70% of 1,000 should be 700, right?
Yes.
So at least 700 is big. Even if you divide, I don't know if you have a calculator. If you divide 700 by $20, how many margin calls
30,
will that give?
35.
35. Even if you do 1%, you will cover 35%. If you divide to do 1.3, which the range is also good. 1.3 times 30. You said 35, right?
Yes, 35.
So 1.3 times 35 is how many?
That will give us, let me just quickly knock that out. 45.5.
So you see, you still cover up to 45 reduction. So it's good if you want to use $20 to buy each of the margin. But I believe even if you use $15, you get more margin call limits than that 35. So I believe I've been able to answer the question.
All right, guys. Thank you, George. Stephen is also saying thank you. So I think that we have thoroughly covered this topic. For anyone who has missed previous Zoom meetings or wants to go over this, the recording will be posted on the Zoom channel for the group. And you can go there and feel free to go watch previous editions so you can master the skills required to navigate your business successfully. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. And for those who still daytime, have a wonderful day. Bye.
Good night. Bye.